Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of DGS. We have just received the carbonated water glass, whatever it was that was at the crime scene that day. And this is clearly going to be the thing that we're going to be able to present because the things with Ace Attorney games, when you know the answer but you can't do anything about it because you haven't been given the right information yet where you can present the thing. But anyway, we have this pretty thing now, so this thing we can present. Sorry, I was taking out my stylus so we can do this properly. Let's examine it for the time being. The label is written in some foreign language that I've never seen before. What does it say, Asogi?
It appears to be French. This stuff is in the top of its class.
I was asking what it said.
Why don't you go ask someone in France?
Why don't you just admit that you don't know? So this is the carbonated water Professor Watson is said to have drank that day.
It looks like there's still some left. It's just regular water now, though.
Come to think of it, I was just starting to get thirsty. Maybe I'll just have a little sip of this. Oh my god, Naruhodō.
Wait, you better not, Naruhodō. At the very least, you shouldn't go around drinking our evidence.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Who knows what someone could have put in it?
You can be pretty surprising in various senses of the word.
It's carbonated water. Who knows what someone could have put in it, huh?
What is it, Naruhodō? You got awfully quiet all of a sudden.
I have found a possibility. Alright, now we can go back to this thing. If I may ask, Miss Giselle, is this what you drank with the victim on the day of this murder? Yes, that's the glass bottle. What's this about? Just now, it looked like she averted her eyes. In any case, let us return to the cross-examination. Do try to exercise more control over yourself, detective. If there's a way to rob someone of their life without leaving a trace, by all means enlighten me. We shall enlighten you, and I hope I presented it to the right to the right testimony. Okay. This is the glass bottle we received earlier. There's one way that I can think of for you to have killed the victim without leaving a trace. That, of course, would be poison. But poison? This is the carbonated water that Professor Watson drank on that day. I don't suppose there might be some poison in it. When he drank it, the professor passed away. Order! 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 Someone who was at the table with the professor could have put a poison in his drink. There's only one person it could be, and obviously that's you, Miss Giselle Bullet. You've got a lot of nerve saying something like that without proof. You may only be a student, but try to understand the situation our country's been put in. Japan has just entered a friendship treaty with Great Britain, and here you make reckless accusations. Are you trying to destroy that relationship?
This isn't the place to worry about politics. This is a court for judging people's crimes.
What?
The fact that she's a British lady doesn't matter. What matters is whether she committed a crime or not. That's it.
May I say something? Insulting a lady! I refuse to sit Oh! You're the one who should be silent. ma'am! What's with this strange intensity? I apologize for my terrible rudeness a moment ago. I regret it from the depths of my heart. Yeah, sure you do. What exactly do you mean? When I said the police of this country are primitive, no matter how primitive they are, surely they at least investigated it. Whether or not there was poison in this bottle or not. Naturally. As I stated previously, I, Hosonaga, wish to be consistently perfect. No way! Naturally, I checked the contents of this bottle. What? And what was the result? Presently, we have tested it for every poison our country has access to. Just your country! And found that there's no poison mixed in with this carbonated water.
What? Are you certain?
The head coroner of the Imperial Police himself conducted the test. What? Allow me to extend my gratitude to the people of this country for proving my innocence. I'm truly grateful. Of course! You're absolutely right! No need to thank us, ma'am. What's going on here?
This is ridiculous. Poisoning would make complete sense.
It seems that this cross-examination has made everything clear. Just as we originally thought, there are no other ways the victim could have been killed except with this pistol. And it's impossible for anyone but the defendant who had been holding the gun to be the murderer. We're done for. I'm deeply sorry for taking up so much of your time, lady. Oh, I don't mind. It's fine as long as you understand. Defense, for the sake of caution, let me confirm this with you. Do you have any other new evidence to submit besides this bottle? Sogi. Oh my god!
Sorry, Naruhodō. We don't have any other evidence.
This case is so stressful! In that case, everyone, I'll be taking my leave. One moment, please. That girl. And just who are you? I apologize for interrupting the trial. I am the defense's legal aide, Mikotoba Susato. Mikotoba? In our final moments, when we found ourselves cornered, she bravely appeared. In her hands, she clutched a small package wrapped in cloth. Dukes Ex Machina! And I think there's going to be a continue here, in which we will continue. This case is so good! It's only the first case, but holy crap, it's a long case! 2 to be continues in case 1. It is the same day at 1:14 in the afternoon. Supreme Court, courtroom number 2. Well then, Miss Legal Aid, what was so important that you needed to interrupt the trial? Ha! I wonder who you were. A legal aid, and a woman at that. Must I remind you that women are not permitted to enter the Supreme Court? Jesus. I am well aware. Please, just grant me 5 minutes of your time. I have some evidence that I must give to the defense. Ha! It's too late for that! The verdict has already been decided. You have 5 minutes and not a second more. Your Honor!
I love this judge.
Thank you very much. So you're... There's not much time. Please take a look at this right away. This is written in English. It looks like some kind of report. These are Miss Giselle Bullett's research materials. That lady's. Just a moment ago, as the trial was reconvening, I made for Yuma University. I borrowed this from the medical department from Professor Watson's research lab.
I see. So the lady was studying in Professor Watson's lab.
So are you saying that this research has something to do with this case? I'm afraid I don't know, you see. I wasn't able to sit in on the trial so far. Oh, right.
The reactions, characteristics, and effects of curare on the human body, huh?
Curare? What's that? I've never heard of it before. Time's up! The prosecution requests that this impudent legal aid remove herself quietly from the courtroom. I didn't have time to read it in depth, but I wrote a simple summary of the contents of the beginning of the report. At the beginning of the report. If it pleases you, please have a look at it. Alright. Thank you so much. Data from Giselle's report was filed in the court record. And now I bid you good fortune.
Bless you, Susato. We mustn't keep our English guests waiting any longer. I'd just like to confirm this one last time. Do either the prosecution or defense have any new evidence they'd like to present?
Naturally, we do not. I was under the impression that this trial was over.
Naruhodō, you don't have the luxury of choice here. This really and truly is our last chance.
Yeah, I know. Your Honor, please permit us to present this evidence. Your eyes. In them burns the Japanese male spirit of refusal to accept defeat. Do you have any objections, Miss Bullet?
Oh? To what?
If you wouldn't mind, would you allow us just a little more of your time?
I wish I could take you up on that offer, but it's nearly time for afternoon tea, so if you'll excuse me.
I apologize, Miss Bullet. I used the phrase if you wouldn't mind, but in reality, this is an order. I hope that you can accept that.
This judge is so awesome!
Don't let her run, man.
It has been my impression from the start that the language of the Japanese is illogical.
My apologies, milady. Now then, defense, you may present your evidence. The new evidence that deserves further investigation during this trial. Alright, we're here. Well, let's look at this for a second. So this talks about the details of a specific kind of thing called a curare, and it's found in the trees in the jungle regions of South America. Hunters and gatherers use it for hunting purposes. It's a lethal poison. A very small amount can cause instant total body paralysis and death. Toxicity manifests when the poison enters the body through a wound, via a blow dart or the like. Due to its ability to induce total body paralysis, it may be useful as an anesthesia. The task is, I keep wanting to say Anastasia, okay. The task is to solve the issue of the fact that, on top of causing paralysis, it also causes the patient to stop breathing. There we go. Everything we needed is here. Miss Giselle Bullet, you are conducting your research at Yuma University in Professor Watson's lab, correct? And coincidentally, you just happen to be researching a lethal poison. What? What a coincidence! Lethal poison? What are you getting at?
Its name is curare. And it's a deadly poison that can cause instant death just by introducing a tiny bit into the body.
What is this gibberish you're spouting? Curare? I've never even heard of that poison.
Of course you haven't.
What?
It's highly unlikely that you would have heard of it before. You see, it's a type of poison that doesn't exist here in Japan yet.
Doesn't exist? Correct. In other words, no matter how thoroughly the Imperial Police examined the body, they would never have detected any trace of that poison. Because this country does not possess the means to detect it.
What?
Order! 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 Does such a lethal poison really exist?
According to the research he's conducted here at Yume University as an exchange student, it's been used since antiquity by South American hunter and gatherer tribes on poison arrows. And apparently it's well known to European scientists and doctors.
Poison arrows?
The bark of a certain tree that grows in the Amazon jungle can be refined to make this poison. At the beginning of the century, explorers brought some of it home to Europe, and that's how it became known to them. If a hunter's prey were to be struck by a blow dart with some of this on it, the effect would be instant death. Isn't that right, my lady?
That assertion is simply absurd. For starters, if a deadly poison such as that were to enter his body, the victim would have writhed in pain and tried to fight it. There's no way everyone else in the restaurant wouldn't have noticed that.
Huh. Indeed. Well, detective? Of course. Naturally, I would have noticed an uproar like that. He's got a point. I don't remember the professor looking like he was in pain.
According to these research materials, it actually would have been the opposite.
What do you mean, opposite?
The victim gave no indication of being in pain. That fact can be considered proof that curare was used.
Just what do you mean? Please explain.
The instant this poison enters the body, it causes total body paralysis. In other words, all strength fades, and one becomes unable to move. Even if such a person were in pain, they'd have no way to express it.
What?
Naturally, if his strength faded, the victim would have fallen over. However, he was sitting in a chair which supported his body. It wouldn't have caused any sort of uproar.
But there's something here I still don't understand, Asogi. Why would a person die just because they became paralyzed?
It's really quite frightening. This lethal poison causes instant paralysis, and the victim becomes unable to move. Then, because of the paralysis, the muscles that control breathing also cease to function.
Breathing?
In other words, the direct cause of death would be suffocation. Until his death, the victim was still conscious. He simply couldn't move.
But that's...
To anyone who saw it, he would simply have appeared to dozed off for a moment. But for the victim, there could have been no crueler death. That's what the lethal poison curare is capable of.
Holy crap, that just took a dark turn. So you're saying that this bottle contains a deadly poison then?
I've had enough of your diversions. It's a poison that isn't known to us, and that's why it wasn't found, you say. Don't make me laugh.
May I say something?
The student is just stringing together random theories. Ow! Holy shit.
You're the one with learning to do.
Yes, ma'am!
Is this how the Japanese get things done? What do you mean? You snoop on other people's materials freely, then pat yourselves on the back as if you were the one who discovered it. I would go so far as to call that downright dirty.
With all due respect, the same might also be said of you.
Just what do you mean by that?
To take advantage of others' lack of knowledge and blatantly attempt to weasel out of your own crime. Don't you think that's also rather dirty, milady?
Sick burn!
In any case, I refuse to accept this! A poison that doesn't exist in Japan! What rubbish!
What are you laughing at? Excuse me, Your Honor. What is it, Miss Bullet? May I see that bottle for a moment? Yes, by all means. No, don't give it to her! Oh! Look at this! This is so nice! This is nothing to be proud of, I hope you know, you citizens of this insignificant Eastern Island country.
What do you mean?
In the eyes of a Brit, what has taken place here today is nothing but child's play. Playing at being police, playing court, it's all rather adorable. But it's about time for this childlessness to come to an end. Cheers! What are you doing? Lifeless carbonated water. How appropriate for this place. No, there's definitely a catch to this, and it was in the notes. Oh my. What's wrong? Why all the shocked faces?
Does this mean there was no cure air in that bottle?
Such a disbelieving expression. But I'm afraid it's the truth. I'm grateful to you for presenting my research in a place like this. It was a nice try, though, little boy. Now then, Your Honor. Yes? May I now go? I believe I fulfilled my obligations for the sake of the friendship between our two countries. My apologies, milady. We can't thank you enough. Shit.
This is ridiculous. There was supposed to be a lethal poison in that bottle. So why? Why is this woman who drank it still in perfect health? I can't understand it.
The cute little joke of a comedy that I just witnessed in this little Eastern Island country. Will make an amusing anecdote when I return home to Great Britain. Is there ever any lethal poison in that bottle? And if there was, why didn't she collapse? I should have all the clues I need. In that glass bottle, there was Poison and no poison. The answer is yes, there is poison, but I've been given the option to hit no poison. I will get a penalty for this, but you know what? Obviously, this means that the poison was not in the bottle.
Why do you say that, Naruhodō?
Think about it. If the poison was in there, she should be dead right now.
Sometimes you're so naive that it's nearly blinding to me. But other times, you're as dormant and dark as our school uniforms.
Do our school uniforms really give off that impression? I award a penalty to that lacking conclusion. I feel like I was the one who was just force-fed poison. Alright. So, the real answer now. There was poison, and there's a way to explain this. So yes, there was poison. The murderer put the poison Chiari into the carbonated water that Professor Watson drank. I, the defense, has no intention of changing its position.
What?
Just what are you looking at right now? There's no way there could be poison in that bottle. After all,
You mean because the lady drank it? Indeed, that's clearly a contradiction. There may be a way to account for that contradiction.
what?
I have to think over the mysteries before me one by one. The answer to them must be in the court record. In that case, defendant. No. Young attorney.
The judge recognizes him!
Sorry. I'll have to ask that you present some evidence. As to the reason that this witness is unharmed after drinking the water that supposedly had Chiari in it. Let's look at the research materials again. Did I present the wrong thing again? Wait, did I present the right thing? I hope I did. Naturally, the answer to that question can be found in the witness's research materials. I'm sorry, his wondering eyes got me really confused.
That's not an answer! Because you see, we don't understand English, and so this is of no use to us. Cocky little upstart, how dare you mock us!
I wasn't mocking anyone. I'm pretty sure I wasn't even acting like a big shot. Indeed, these materials are quite expansive. In that case, I'll need you to point it out once more. Which section within the materials contains the answer? It should be... Okay, this is the summary, characteristic, and application. The answer should be... characteristics. The characteristics? Yes, it is. Alright, well, I was given another option here, so let's do the wrong answer first. The application section. I believe that we'll find it in the application section.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, we're looking for the reason that someone would avoid death, even though they consume this lethal poison. I thought that application could also be interpreted as the lethal poison's strength.
Best present a more concrete answer, otherwise we won't make it all the way to the turbulent 20th century that's supposedly on its way.
Crap.
Naruhodō,
Asogi.
read it more closely.
Thanks for the concise advice. The reason the lady is still alive, even after drinking the Chiari. I'd better look over her report over one more time.
Ha! There's no way we could comprehend it anyway.
Alright. So, the answer, for reals this time, is the characteristics. I hope. Just now, as I was listening to the information about Chiari, there was one thing that struck out to me. One thing that struck out. This poison has been used by hunters and gatherer societies for ages. They paint some on the tip of a blowgun dart and use it to hunt for food. Indeed, it seems they do. And after that, everyone eats the animal that was killed.
What about it?
But there would still be some of the poison from the dart left in the animal's body, right?
You're right.
Normally, you wouldn't risk eating something like that, right? An animal that was brought down with that frightening deadly poison. Oh, that certainly doesn't make sense. I certainly wouldn't want to eat it. That's when I realized it. These research materials. In the characteristics section, the following is written. Toxicity manifests when the poison enters the body through a wound. Through a wound. Alright, we're gonna have to stop here because we are now out of time. This case is ridiculous though. We'll continue on in the next video. I'll see you guys then.